Have you ever stood at the edge of your own potential, feeling the vast expanse of possibility before you, yet found yourself held back by invisible chains? Those chains, they're not made of steel or iron. They're forged from something far more powerful. Our own limiting beliefs, our desperate need for validation, and our exhausting games of emotional hide and seek. Right now, in this very moment, someone somewhere is begging for love that will never fulfill them. Another soul is chasing success that keeps moving like a mirage in the desert. And countless others are trapped in endless games of pretense, wearing masks so heavy they've forgotten their true face beneath. But what if I told you that everything you're seeking, every ounce of love, success, and fulfillment is already within your grasp? What if the very act of begging, chasing, and playing games is the only thing standing between you and your deepest desires? We've been doing it all wrong. We've been reaching outward when we should have been reaching inward. We've been knocking on everyone else's door when our own door has been unlocked all along. And today, right here, we're going to turn that around. You see, life presents us with a profound paradise. The moment you stop begging for love is the moment you become truly lovable. The instant you cease chasing success is when success starts chasing you. And when you drop the games and stand in your authentic truth, that's when real connections begin to form. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the things we desperately chase seem to run faster? It's like trying to catch your own shadow. The harder you run, the more it eludes you. But stand still in the light of self-awareness, and suddenly that shadow merges with your feet. Let me share something powerful with you. In the quiet moments of our lives, when we're truly honest with ourselves, we know that begging diminishes our spirit. Every time we beg for attention, for love, for recognition, we give away a piece of our dignity. It's like taking a beautiful painting and slashing it with our own hands, then wondering why nobody sees its value. And the chasing, the endless chasing. We chase careers that don't align with our values. We chase relationships that drain our energy. We chase approval from people who barely know themselves. We've turned our lives into an exhausting marathon with no finish line in sight. But perhaps most insidious of all are the games we play. The carefully crafted text designed to appear casual. The strategic social media post timed for maximum impact. The manufactured scarcity of our attention and affection. These games might win us temporary victories, but they cost us the ultimate prize. Genuine connection. There's the revolutionary truth I'm offering you today. The path to everything you desire is paved with radical authenticity. It's about standing firmly in your truth, letting go of the desperate energy of seeking, and embracing the magnetic. When you stop begging, you declare to the universe that you are complete. When you stop chasing, you create space for abundance to chase you. And when you stop playing games, you open the door to real, transformative connections that can change your life. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about stripping away everything that isn't truly you. It's about returning to your authentic self. That pure, powerful being who doesn't need to beg because they know their worth, who doesn't need to chase because they trust in divine timing, who doesn't need to play games because their truth is. The journey we're embarking on today isn't just about changing behaviors. It's about transforming your entire relationship with existence. It's about shifting from a paradigm of lack to one of abundance, from fear to love, from external seeking to internal knowing. Every time you've begged for something, how did it feel in your soul? That crushing weight in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that's your spirit telling you that you're betraying your own worth. Every time you've chased something obsessively, how much of your precious life force have you wasted? And every time you've played emotional games, how exhausted have you felt keeping track of all the rules and roles? But there's a better way. A way that honors your dignity, preserves your energy, and allows for authentic connection. It starts with a simple but profound shift. Instead of begging, stand in your worth. Instead of chasing, become so aligned with your purpose that opportunities naturally flow to you. Instead of playing games, offer the gift of your genuine self to the world. This shift requires courage. It demands that you face your fears of abandonment, your scarcity mindset, and your deep-seated beliefs about your own worthiness. But let me tell you something. On the other side of that fear lies freedom. Freedom from the exhausting cycle of seeking external validation. Freedom from the endless pursuit of things that don't truly matter. Freedom to be unapologetically, magnificently yourself. Today, we're going to explore how to make this shift in every area of your life. We'll discover how to transform your relationships, your career, your self-image, and your spiritual connection through the power of authentic. We'll learn how to replace begging with self-worth, chasing with magnetic attraction, and games with genuine interaction. The journey won't always be easy. There will be moments when the old patterns call to you like familiar friends. Moments when begging seems easier than believing in your worth. Moments when chasing feels more natural than staying centered in your truth. Moments when games appear safer than vulnerability. But I promise you this. Every step you take away from these old patterns is a step toward your true power. Every time you choose dignity over desperation, presence over pursuit, and authenticity over artifice, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And as we continue this journey together, you'll discover that the very things you once begged for, chased after, and played games to obtain will begin flowing into your life with an ease and grace you never thought possible. Because when you align with your authentic self, you align with the very force that creates worlds. So let's begin this transformation. Let's explore how to stand in your power, how to become a magnet for all you desire, and how to create connections so real and deep that they change the very fabric of your existence. The time for begging, chasing, and playing games is over. The time for authentic living is now. Let's dive deeper into this transformative truth. When you stop begging, something miraculous happens. It's like watching a sunset. You can't rush it. You can't beg it to be more beautiful. You can't play games with it. You simply have to be present and allow its magnificence to unfold. Your worth isn't something you need to prove or earn. It's your birthright. Think about a diamond. Does it beg to be valuable? Does it chase after admirers? Does it play games to prove its worth? No. It simply exists in its natural state. And its value is intrinsic. This is where the real work begins. It's about understanding that begging doesn't just manifest in obvious ways. Sometimes it's subtle over-explaining yourself, constantly seeking approval, making yourself smaller to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Every time you compromise your truth to please others, you're engaging in a sophisticated form of and the chasing. It's exhausting, isn't it? We chase deadlines, chase relationships, chase success, chase happiness. But have you noticed that the things we chase hardest often remain just out of reach? It's like trying to catch a butterfly. The more aggressively you pursue it, the more likely it is to fly away. But stand still in your garden, be at peace with yourself, and butterflies may land gently on your shoulder. The games we play are perhaps the most damaging of all. They're like a maze we build around our hearts, thinking it will protect us from pain. We create elaborate rules and strategies thinking they'll lead us to love and success. But these games only lead us further from our truth, further from genuine connection, further from... Here's a powerful truth. Everything you want wants you, but it can't find you if you're constantly moving, constantly chasing, constantly hiding behind games and pretenses. The universe operates on attraction, not pursuit. You don't see a flower chasing bees. It blooms, and the bees come naturally. Think about the last time you felt truly at peace. Was it when you were begging for something? Was it when you were desperately chasing after someone or something? Was it when you were caught up in emotional games? No. Peace comes when we stand in our truth, when we trust in our worth, when we allow life to unfold naturally. The shift I'm talking about requires a new kind of trust. Trust that you are enough. Trust that what's meant for you will find you. Trust that authentic connection is more powerful than any game you could play. This trust isn't blind faith. It's a deep knowing that comes from understanding your inherent worth. When you stop begging, you make space for receiving. And when you stop chasing, you create room for attraction. When you stop playing games, you open the door for real connection. It's like clearing out a cluttered room. Suddenly there's space for new, beautiful things to enter. But this isn't just about relationships or success. This is about your relationship with life itself. And you stop begging life to be different. You begin to see the beauty in what is. When you stop chasing experiences, you start living fully in each moment. When you stop playing games with your destiny, you align with your true purpose. Consider how much energy you've spent in pursuit. Energy begging for recognition. Energy chasing after people who weren't meant for you. Energy maintaining the complex rules of your emotional games. Now imagine channeling all that energy into simply being your authentic self, into creating value, into living with purpose. The transformation we're talking about happens in layers. First, you become aware of these patterns, the begging, the chasing, the games. Then you begin to catch yourself in the act. Finally, you learn to choose differently. You learn to stand in your power, to trust in divine timing, to show up. This journey requires patience with yourself. You didn't develop these patterns overnight, and you won't release them overnight either. But each time you choose dignity over begging, presence over pursuit, and authenticity over games, the universe responds not to our desperation, but to our vibration. When you're begging, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack. When you're chasing, you're vibrating at the frequency of fear. When you're playing games, you're vibrating at the frequency of distrust. But when you stand in your worth, you vibrate at the frequency of abundance. When you trust in divine timing, you vibrate at the frequency of peace. When you show up authentically, you vibrate at the frequency of love. And these are the frequencies that attract everything you desire. This isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming magnetic. It's about understanding that your energy, your presence, your authentic self is enough to attract everything that's meant for you. It's about knowing that the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences will find you when you're aligned with your truth. The power of this approach lies in its simplicity. No more complex strategies, no more exhausting pursuits, no more elaborate games, just you standing in your truth, shining your light, allowing life to meet you where you are. Think about how much mental and emotional space this frees up. When you're not constantly strategizing about how to get what you want, you have room to actually enjoy what you have. When you're not always chasing the next thing, you can appreciate the present moment. When you're not playing games, you can experience genuine connection. This is the paradox of authentic living. The less you grasp, the more you receive. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you play games, the more real your connections become. It's like finally exhaling after holding your breath for too long. Suddenly, everything flows naturally. Now, let's explore what happens when you fully embrace this new way of being. When you stop begging, chasing, and playing games, you create space for something remarkable to emerge. Your authentic power. Think of your life force as a river. When you're begging, you're damming up that river, restricting its natural flow. When you're chasing, you're trying to force the river upstream. When you're playing games, you're creating artificial channels that divert the river from its true course. But when you remove these obstacles, the river naturally flows toward its destiny. This is where the magic begins to unfold. You'll notice subtle shifts. At first, a new sense of peace in your decisions, a growing trust in your intuition, a deepening connection with your own wisdom. These shifts might seem small, but they're laying the foundation for profound transformation. In your relationships, you'll find yourself naturally attracting people who respect and value you. Not because you're trying to impress them or playing hard to get, but because your authentic energy is magnetic. When you stop begging for love, you become more lovable. When you stop chasing connection, genuine connections find you. In your career, you'll discover opportunities opening up organically. Not because you're desperately networking or playing political games, but because your authentic contribution becomes impossible to ignore. Success stops being something you chase and becomes something you attract through the value you naturally create. In your spiritual life, you'll experience a deeper connection with your inner wisdom, not because you're begging for answers or chasing enlightenment, but because you're finally quiet enough to hear the whispers of your soul. The guidance you seek has always been there. It was just drowned out by the noise. Is a profound truth. Every time you beg, you reinforce a belief in your own unworthiness. Every time you chase, you strengthen a belief in scarcity. Every time you play games, you deepen a belief in your own inadequacy. But every time you choose to stand in your worth, trust in abundance, and show up authentically, you rewrite these limiting beliefs. The transformation we're talking about isn't just about changing your actions. It's about shifting your entire way of being. It's about moving from a space of lack to a space of abundance, from fear to love, from control to trust. When you're truly aligned with your authentic self, you become like a lighthouse. You don't chase ships or beg them to come to shore. You don't play games with your light, turning it on and off to get attention. You simply shine consistently, brightly, authentically. And the ships that need your light, this alignment creates a kind of magnetic field around you. People will start wondering what's different about you. They'll be drawn to your energy, your peace, your authenticity, not because you're trying to attract them, but because authentic power is naturally attractive. But here's the key. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unbecoming everything you're not. It's about peeling away the layers of societal conditioning that taught you to beg, chase, and play games. It's about returning to your natural state of being. Think about water. It doesn't try to flow, it simply flows. It doesn't beg gravity to pull it, chase its destiny, or play games with its direction. It simply moves in harmony with natural law. That's what we're aiming for. That kind of natural alignment with life. The beauty of this approach is that it requires less effort, not more. You don't have to work harder at being authentic. You just have to stop working so hard at being inauthentic. You don't have to force connections. You just have to stop forcing fake ones. You don't have to chase success. You just have to stop chasing what isn't meant for you. This is where true power lies. Not in controlling outcomes, but in allowing them to unfold naturally. Not in manipulating situations, but in showing up authentically within them. Not in forcing connections, but in allowing genuine ones to form. When you embrace this way of being, you'll find yourself becoming more intuitive. You'll naturally sense which opportunities to pursue and which to let pass. You'll know which relationships to nurture and which to release. You'll understand which path to take without having to analyze every possible outcome. This intuitive knowing comes from being aligned with your authentic self. When you're not clouded by the desperate energy of begging, the exhausting pursuit of chasing, or the complicated rules of games, you can hear your inner wisdom more clearly. And here's something remarkable. When you operate from this space of authenticity, timing becomes perfect. Not because you're controlling it, but because you're in flow with it. The right opportunities, relationships, and experiences show up exactly when you're ready for them. But this requires trust. Deep, unwavering trust. Trust that what's meant for you won't miss you. Trust that you don't have to force, manipulate, or game your way to your desires. Trust that your authentic self is magnetic enough to attract everything you need. This trust isn't blind faith. It's based on universal law. Like attracts like. Authenticity attracts authenticity. Value attracts value. When you're being your genuine self, you naturally attract genuine opportunities, genuine relationships. The path we're walking together isn't always easy, but it's infinitely easier than maintaining the exhausting cycle of begging, chasing, and playing games. It's like learning to swim. At first, it might feel safer to thrash and struggle, but eventually you discover that floating requires less effort and gets you further. As we go deeper into this transformation, let's explore how this new way of being manifests in your daily life. Because this isn't just philosophy, it's a practical path to freedom, to power, to authentic living. When you wake up each morning, you have a choice. You can fall back into the old patterns of begging, chasing, and game playing, or you can choose to stand in your authentic power. This choice happens moment by moment, situation by situation. In your relationships, it means letting go of the need to prove your worth. No more crafting the perfect message to get attention. No more waiting a calculated amount of time to respond. No more pretending to be busy when you're not. Instead, you communicate honestly, directly, and with respect, both for yourself and others. At work, it means releasing the desperate energy of proving yourself. No more working late just to be seen. No more taking on projects you hate to please others. No more political games to advance your career. Instead, you focus on creating genuine value, sharing your unique gifts, and allowing your work to speak for itself. In your personal growth, it means stopping the endless chase for self-improvement. No more begging the universe for signs. No more chasing after every new spiritual teaching. No more playing games with your own development. Instead, you trust your inner wisdom, follow your authentic path, and allow growth to unfold naturally. This shift requires a new relationship with time. When you're no longer chasing, you discover that divine timing is real. When you're no longer playing games, you find that authentic connections develop at their own perfect pace. When you're no longer begging, you realize that what's meant for you arrives exactly when it should. But here's where many people get stuck. They mistake this approach for passivity. They think that stopping the chase means sitting around waiting for life to happen. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is about active surrender, conscious allowing, purposeful presence. Think about a master martial artist. They don't chase their opponent or beg for openings. They don't play games or waste energy. They remain centered, aware, ready. Their power comes from their presence, their alignment, their ability to move with rather than against. This is the kind of mastery we're cultivating. Not just in moments of challenge, but in every aspect of life. It's about maintaining your center regardless of what's happening around you. It's about trusting your worth regardless of external validation. It's about staying authentic regardless of the temptation to play games. The power of this approach becomes evident in how you handle life's challenges. When someone doesn't respond to your message, you don't spiral into anxiety or start playing games. When an opportunity seems to pass you by, you don't chase it or beg for another chance. When success appears to be eluding you, you don't compromise your values to catch it. Instead, you remain rooted in your authentic power. You understand that your worth isn't determined by someone's response or lack thereof. You know that the right opportunities align with your values. You trust that genuine success comes from authentic contribution. This creates a remarkable shift in your energy field. Instead of the contracted energy of begging, the scattered energy of chasing, or the manipulative energy of games, you emanate the expanded energy of authenticity. This energy is magnetic. It naturally attracts what aligns with your highest good. Consider how this plays out in real situations. When you're in a relationship, you're not constantly seeking reassurance or playing emotional games. You're present, authentic, and secure in your worth. This creates space for real intimacy to develop. In your career, you're not desperately networking or manipulating situations. You're focused on creating value, sharing your gifts, and allowing opportunities to unfold naturally. This attracts meaningful work and authentic success. In your personal growth, you're not jumping from teacher to teacher or chasing after enlightenment. You're following your inner guidance, trusting your path, and allowing wisdom to emerge naturally. This leads to genuine transformation. The beauty of this approach is that it conserves energy. Think about how much energy you've spent crafting the perfect message, strategizing your next move, or maintaining various pretenses. Now imagine channeling all that energy into simply being authentic, creating value. And allow this conservation of energy creates space for something magical to happen. You become more present. When you're not constantly strategizing about the future or playing games in the present, you can fully inhabit each moment. This presence is where real power lies. In this presence, you become more attuned to subtle signals. You notice opportunities you might have missed while chasing something else. You recognize genuine connections that might have been overlooked while playing games. You receive guidance that might have been drowned out by the noise of begging. This attunement leads to better decisions. Not because you're analyzing everything to death, but because you're aligned with your authentic self. You naturally move toward what serves your highest good and away from what doesn't. This isn't strategy, it's alignment. The impact of this alignment extends far beyond your personal life. When you show up authentically, you give others permission to do the same. When you trust in your worth, you inspire others to claim theirs. When you stop playing games, you create space for genuine connection. As we approach the culmination of our journey together, let's embrace the profound truth that has been weaving through every word shared. The power you seek has always resided within you. It was never in the begging, never in the chasing, never in the games. It was always in the simple, profound act of being authentically you. Think about how this understanding transforms everything. When you fully grasp that begging diminishes your power, chasing depletes your energy, and games disconnect you from your truth, you can never go back to those old patterns. It's like finally seeing through an illusion. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the moment of true liberation, the moment you realize that everything you've been searching for has been searching for you too. But it couldn't find you because you were too busy running, too busy pleading, too busy hiding behind elaborate games and strategies. The transformation we're talking about is both subtle and profound. It's subtle because it doesn't require you to add anything to yourself. No new techniques, no complex strategies, no elaborate plans. It's profound because it changes everything. Your relationships, your work, your entire experience of life. When you stop begging, you reclaim your dignity. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your energy. When you stop playing games, you reclaim your authenticity. And in this reclamation, you discover something remarkable. Life becomes simpler yet richer. More peaceful yet more exciting, more grounded yet more magic. This is what authentic power feels like. It's not the power of domination or control. It's not the power of manipulation or force. It's the power of being so aligned with your truth that you naturally attract what resonates with your authentic frequency. Consider the ocean. It never begs the waves to form, never chases the tide, never plays games with its depth. It simply is in all its power and majesty. And in that being, it moves entire continents, shapes coastlines, and sustains countless. That's the kind of power we're talking about, the power of authentic being. As you move forward from this moment, you'll face situations that tempt you back into old patterns. There will be moments when begging seems easier than standing in your worth. Times when chasing feels more natural than staying centered. Situations where games appear safer than authenticity. But now you know better. Now you understand that begging only attracts more situations where you feel compelled to beg. Chasing only creates more experiences that make you feel like you need to chase. Playing games only leads to more complex games that drain your spirit. The alternative is simple but revolutionary. Be authentic. Be present. Be present. Be worthy, not because you're trying to get something, but because that's who you truly are. Your authentic self is more magnetic than any game you could play, more powerful than any chase you could undertake, more compelling than any begging you could do. This understanding changes how you move through the world. You stop trying to prove your worth and simply live it. You stop chasing dreams and start embodying them. You stop playing games and start creating genuine connections. The miracle is that when you make this shift, everything you've been seeking starts seeking you. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. You don't have to search for what you need. You can simply see what's already there. Your clarity attracts clarity. Your authenticity attracts authenticity. Your truth attracts truth. But remember, this isn't about perfection. There will be moments when you slip back into old patterns. That's okay. What matters is not that you never slip, but that you always return to your authentic center. Each return makes you stronger, clearer, more aligned. The power of this approach lies in its sustainability. Begging drains you, chasing exhausts you, games deplete you. But being authentic energizes you, standing in your worth strengthens you, living your truth fulfills you. As you leave here today, carry this wisdom in your heart. You don't need to beg because you are already worthy. You don't need to chase because what's meant for you will find you. You don't need to play games because your authentic self is more than enough. Let this be the moment you decide to stop diminishing yourself. Stop exhausting yourself. Stop complicating your life with unnecessary games and strategies. Instead, stand tall in your authentic power. Trust in divine timing. Show up as your genuine self. The world needs your authentic power now more than ever. It needs your genuine gifts, not your carefully crafted image. It needs your real presence, not your strategic absence. It needs your truth, not your games. So I challenge you. From this moment forward, choose dignity over begging. Choose presence over pursuit. Choose authenticity over games. Choose the power of being over the exhaustion of seeking. Remember, everything you desire is also desiring you. Every opportunity you're meant to have is also looking for you. Every connection you're meant to make is also seeking you out. But they can only find you when you stop running. Stop begging, stop playing games, and start being authentically, unapologetically you. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your opportunity to step into the power that has always been yours. No more begging, no more chasing, no more games, just authentic, powerful, magnetic. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Step into your power. Embrace your worth. Live your truth. The world is waiting for the real you to show up. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Now go forth and let your authentic light shine so brightly that it illuminates not just your path, but the paths of all those around you. Your time of begging, chasing, and playing games is over. Your time of authentic power has begun.